All right, even more Demon Bluff. So last time we left, we are on Ascension 7. I believe I found all of the cards now, so even though I could continue playing more standard and maybe it gets harder, it hasn't really been feeling any harder than it has been. I want to try Endless this time around, see what happens. Every village being randomized, I don't know if that's like, okay, so increased difficulty might be increased from Ascension 4 when I first unlocked this. Every village is randomized. I feel like that village was, like, the villages were already randomized before. I don't know if like the Ascensions, you're playing through static levels every time, because I've never had to replay an Ascension. And it says more challenging characters and scenarios. I mean, that's what increased difficulty is. Anyways, let's figure out if it is like a lot more difficult than before. I feel like it can't get more difficult than... I say that, and there's 4 outcasts sitting in front of me. Okay, that's a lot. We've got a counselor. Please don't be beside a drunk. There's a doppelganger too. Okay, luckily enough, I have no witch, so I can open up to see if there is a bombardier or a wretch that a counselor is sitting beside. I would need to see both a bombardier and a wretch though, because even though it says 1 outcast in the top, the counselor creates an extra 1. It turns one of the villagers into an outcast. Doesn't update this count. Not a fan of that, but it's how it is. 3 is a real lever. Let's see if 3 is. 2 evils are adjacent next to you, and I think there's no forms of corruption, right? Apart from the drunk. Apart from the drunk. Counselor is 2 cards away from the closest evil. That could check out. Learn 1 random outcast. We can't do that because we don't know where there's drunks or not. There's 1 wretch. That's good, and it might point me in the right direction to find a drunk. Or sorry, not find a drunk, but find another bombardier to understand that there's no drunk or doppelganger, so then I can point out the counselor easier, and I don't have to worry about corruption at all. Got an oracle, got an alchemist, and we've got a... Oh, that's so nice. Okay, counselor's 2 cards. Wait. 2 evils are adjacent to you. Let's say... Oh, if there's no corruption, I can just test the druid on 3 things that aren't outcasts. There are no outcasts. You're telling me the truth. You are lying, saying that there's 2 evils adjacent to you, so you're dead. And then the counselor being 2 cards away from the closest evil, like, can be true. You're the counselor right here, because we can't have you be lying and be a counselor. That doesn't work. So you have to be the counselor. Hold on, you cured 2... What do you mean you cured 2 corruptions? What do you mean you cured 2 You're also lying to me? Counselor, 1, 2 cards away, and then wretch, maybe, and you're the liar? 3 is a real lever, but you're lying, and there's no forms of corruption. I don't understand. Let me try on a druid just to, like, collect more information. There are no outcasts, you're telling the truth. 6 or 8 is a... There's 3 evils. I'm looking up here, and I'm seeing 2 minions, and I'm like, oh, that's 2 evils. That's my bad. So, you are evil, everything checks out. Okay, Puka Poisoner, lots of corruption this round, and an Alchemist to maybe save us from it. We've also got 1 outcast with both a doppelganger and a bombardier. If we see the bombardier, we know there's no doppelganger on board. Right side is more evil, left side is more evil. Bombardier, 1 of these has to be lying then. There's no, or sorry, 1 of these has to be evil because there's no doppelganger on board, meaning that 1 of the evils disguise themselves as an architect to put 2 architects on board. I am the original baker. You have to be telling the truth. 3 cards away from the closest evil. 3, and 1, 2, 3. That's fine. That checks out. I was a fortune teller. A baker can only turn a random good villager into a baker, so I can say that you're fine, like you are a good villager. You could be corrupted and like you could not be a fortune teller, you could be lying about that, but no, if you're corrupted then you would say like I was the original baker or something. I don't think they say like different roles that they could be. Let's open up the last card. I was an alchemist. So let's assume that all of the bakers are correct. 3 cards away from the closest evil. That makes this an evil. And if... Wait, it makes 1 of these 2 an evil. And I mean, they're at odds with each other, so like I could just pull the trigger to see which one of them is evil, and then I'm assuming Slayer itself is evil too. If I assume that you are corrupted somehow, or not corrupted, you'd have to be evil because the poisoner can't be beside you. Hold on, is there Puka in this as well? There's Puka. Oh my god, there's so many good villagers that, like, I'm not feeling the corruption this round. There's no way to corrupt you as well, so you're either evil, and... No, the Bombardier has to be it, so you have to be telling the truth as well. So then the two evils are among these three cards, and I can just start killing people because I've got enough health to do so. So let's try the bottom Architect, Poisoner. The left side is more evil, so you have to be telling the truth. So then you have to be... Puka. Wait, but Puka would corrupt you? Wait, but... The right side is more evil. What? There's no way to cure the corruption on you? Okay, that's a lot of possible outcasts. We've got a drunk and a doppelganger for the counselor to hide under. There's going to be 2, not 1 outcast like it says. We got a Slayer, could be corrupted. 1 is good, could also be corrupted or evil. Wretch, that's nice to have an outcast specifically on the board. Doppelganger could be a... This poet could be a doppelganger. Jester's new, Architect, Lover, Scout. Okay. That means that there's a doppelganger or a drunk on the board. I cannot discern which one is which because this could just be an evil, or this could be an evil. Which means that there's no doppelganger, which means one of these is a drunk. Puts the counselor anywhere on the board. Okay, okay. There is only one source of corruption though, so there's only one person that's lying instead. Where should I start? We've got 2 evils, so for the left side to be more evil, there has to be 1 in the middle and 2 over here, or at least like 2 beside each other. Which would mean that, ooh, that's a pretty rough statement to be making with a wretch on the other side of the board. Because then we need 1 here, and then 1 in the middle, and that works out, or 1 in the middle, 2 in the middle, I guess. So then these 3 would be safe. You could be telling the truth. I need to confirm more people so I can, like, see if the Jester's telling the truth. If, like, one of these are, does that make sense? I guess I want to label you as, like, the drunk, almost. And just assume that you're the drunk. If I'm assuming that you're the drunk, I should just kill you to get the, like, 4 health loss, but not the full health loss. It's such like a risky play. I'm glad I made it because now I know where the drunk is, and now I know that one of these 2 is the counselor. I can pick between good, and I don't have another person that, like, I know is fine yet. We could ask the Slayer if somebody's evil. Because we're now knowing that the right side is more evil, it's likely that he is also evil, but I don't know for certain yet. Let me click on the drunk and see if he's going to execute it or not. So I think what that is he's trying to execute it, but he's not able to because it's already killed. Just like how when you have a regular Slayer trying to kill something that's evil, it will try to execute it, but it's already been executed, so it won't do it. So this guy is evil. I'm going to try killing him. Really? Why wouldn't you tell me that you couldn't execute it? Maybe because I've already killed it. Okay, well, at least I know that this is true, and I can use it to break a 50-50 in the future, and that's fine. Now I've got a Jester that I can say that you are evil, you are good, and you are good. You should tell me that there's only 1. You are safe. There's 1 evil adjacent to you. I mean, there now, I think, has to be... No, it could be evil, evil, and that works out. It could be evil, evil, and that works out. One is good, you're telling me the truth, so then it has to be evil, evil, and you're telling the truth. Let me use the Slayer to just confirm this. There's 1. There's 2. Okay, next round. We've got another counselor with a drunk and a doppelganger. Stop doing this to me. I want to see a baker early. No evils adjacent to the lover. Let's take her at face value and open up the 2 cards. 5 is a real fortune teller. If we're assuming the lover to be true and the medium to be true, let's open up the fortune teller. I guess we're not able to find evil cards yet, or like we don't have a wretch on board, or... Okay, if we're assuming these 2 to be true, we'll use the fortune teller to look at these 2, and if she says false, then I'm assuming her to be true as well. So we've got 3 people implicating each other. If they end up being false, then they're, what is it? All evil? Or I guess I need to have 4 people implicate because there's a drunk out there. 4 is good. So this is starting a new chain. The right side is more evil, but that ends it because, like, they can't get pertinent information out of the architect. Like, that points specifically to the gem crafter. We've got a wretch on the left side, which makes me to believe this architect is the drunk, and I could pull the same risky play that I did before, but I don't want to because the drunk removes 4 HP. Lilith removed 2 when she killed this card here. We've got a dreamer. Let's put that dreamer on the wretch to see if they're telling the truth. Could be a puppeteer. I mean, that can't... Oh, that still could be the case. I don't want to believe it to be true, though. I'm going to kill the dreamer. It's the puppet. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, I didn't want it to believe it to be true, so I thought that this was going to be an evil. It is an evil. I've been saved by that, but it's the puppet. He doesn't lie. So the wretch has to be... What? Hold on. I at least know this to be the puppeteer now. This is evil. This is evil. 6 could be a puppeteer. You're not allowed to lie. I asked you to look at an evil character. You looked at an evil character, and you're supposed to tell me what that is. Right? As a dreamer? Let me just double check the rules of dreamer. Learn an evil role. If evil picked, learn correct info. You should have been telling me correct info about the wretch. Is that not a bug? I'll try figuring out again at the end. The right side is more evil. That's looking like a big fallacy. But you could be a drunk. Don't want to kill you yet. You would then be saying that the architect is good in that case, which means that there's only 1 more space on board for an evil. Hold on. Evil's killed 2? What does it mean 2? Because I've only killed you as an evil, and like this registers as an evil, but it shouldn't register up here as an evil, you know? There should be a puppeteer, a puppet, counselor, and Lilith. Did I not see earlier on when Lilith killed this character, the evil count go up? That's interesting. Okay, well, if the wretch is true, we have one of either the drunk or the doppelganger on board. I'm going to assume this is the drunk. Then the counselor needs to go beside it. 9 or 1 evil being false. I made a bunch of assumptions over here, and I shouldn't be making those assumptions anymore. Okay, what happens if I just point the Slayer at somebody to try to kill them? To back them up. As, like, being truthful or not. It could end the run. I could have a very short first endless run. I don't think I have a better option. Got no evils adjacent to you. So then where does that leave evils left? You would have to be an evil. And there would have to be a doppelganger somewhere, but this can't be a doppelganger. There has to be a drunk. That doesn't work out because if all of these guys are true and you are the only one left, because like no evils adjacent to me, that means that these 2 are telling the truth. 5 is a real fortune teller. That means the fortune teller is telling the truth. 4 is good. You'd have to be lying. Wait, that does work. And then there's no drunk on board, but the drunk could be this character. That is a correct, like, possibility. I don't want to look for another one. I'm gonna kill the architect, Lilith. Counselor, nice. Getting lucky profiting from it. We got Puka and a drunk as 3 sources of corruption here. Rough. Baker. I was corrupted. Corrupted or evil, which means that, what is it? The ability won't go off if it's been disguised as that card. So, like, if I had a Puka disguise herself as this Baker, she's going to lie and say that she isn't the original Baker, but she's also not going to trigger the Baker effect of, I reveal and one random unrevealed good villager becomes a Baker. So, like, the next Baker that opens up should still say that I'm the original Baker, and then that would be the truth. Let's keep opening up cards. We've got a Fortune Teller. 1 card away from the closest evil. Nothing yet. I was a Baker. So this one would be lying, right? Under that assumption. Otherwise, I might be wrong, and I'll learn something new about the game. So I'm going to assume that you're corrupted or lying. That puts one of these two as being evil, since Puka can only corrupt nearby things. Or, hold on, is there a drunk? There's a fucking drunk. You could have been a drunk at the beginning, and then you could be corrupted by Puka. 4 is good. Not gonna go down the rabbit hole yet. Let's open up all the cards, see what happens. Okay, 3 was affected by an evil. Let's say that you are Puka then. You corrupt these 2. You are true. The left side is more evil, putting the drunk up here. Wait, hold on. Why am I putting that down yet? You could be lying, and then the right side is more evil. 4 is good. 4 cannot be good if I'm assuming it to be a Puka that corrupts these 2. So then you are lying. 4, then you're also lying, saying that you're a twin, saying that 4 or 5 is a twin minion. So let's say that you are telling the truth. You are Puka, corrupting these 2 here instead. 3 is still affected by an evil. Let me clear these guys. So Puka corrupts these 2. 3 gets affected by the evil. You're 1 card away from the closest evil, so then you are evil. 4 or 5 is a twin minion. You could be twin minion. You could be telling the truth. You could be telling the truth. That doesn't leave space for a drunk, though, does it? You could be a drunk and just be beside Puka. You could be a drunk, but then you wouldn't be beside, or you wouldn't be affected by an evil. I'm gonna assume that you're the drunk. I could kill you first to, like, challenge my assumptions so far, because the only way that this works is if this card is a drunk. And then I'm down only 4 HP, not 5 HP. Yes, okay. Then this is the setup that has to be. Nice, nice. Oh, I'm a huge fan of the drunk only being... I'm not a huge fan of the drunk in general. I'm a huge fan of the drunk being only 4 HP to kill, so that you can do plays like that and still have 1 other kill under your belt. Okay, we've got a Puka, we've got a Witch, Plague Doctor, and a... Okay, so the Witch isn't corrupting. I should say Puka, Drunk, Plague Doctor are forms of corruption. I'm just pointing out the Witch is doing something on board, as I can't reveal the last card. Hopefully, I get to reveal the Plague Doctor to be able to try to get rid of some of the corruptions of the Drunk or Puka. Or not cleanse the corruptions, but see if they are corrupted or evil. 3 or 7 is a minion. Don't want to open up 3 or 7 then. I am good. Perfect, you're telling me some good information. 3, 6, or 2. There's 1 evil, which like more heavily implicates 3 as being evil, 6 as good, and 7 as being not a minion. Or I guess it doesn't say anything about 7, because the Oracle just says learn out of 1 of 2 character roles if it's a specific, like if it's a minion. So this could still be an evil. I'm gonna open up 6 though. No evils adjacent to you. Let's try opening up 5 and 7 then. We got 5. We could test the assumption of the lover by having the Slayer try to kill the Confessor. And a Plague Doctor. That's probably not an evil, but I'd need to open up all of the cards. I can't do that because of the Witch. So let's use a Plague Doctor to test the Slayer for corruption. If it is corrupted... Hold on. I think I remember there's something about, like, if the Slayer isn't corrupted, I can use that information to, like... No, I can't remember it. There's something rattling around in the back of my skull, probably from one of the previous episodes, but I'm not pulling it out of thin air. One outcast. And there's 2 outcasts here, guys. So there's no drunk on board, which really helpful. The only people that are corrupted can be beside Puka, and one of these 2 has to be Puka. So then one of these 2 has to be corrupted. Let me open up this card, see if they're lying. 1 or 2 is a witch. Can't really get information out of that. Can't open the last one. I shouldn't have opened this card because I'm assuming it to be corrupted, so it's more likely to be lying. That's not giving me good information. The Slayer. Let me try killing the Plague Doctor to see if it's evil or not. You couldn't kill 7. You could be corrupted. If you're the evil, though, then I can't point him back at you to test for corruption. Damn. Right, no, there's no corruption for a drunk being on board, so this guy can't be corrupted by Puka, so he's either evil or good. There's no sense for me to put corruption on him. So let's say that you're evil, you've been the one that's been corrupted, because there isn't evil beside you. If you're evil, then the second evil is here. And then, what is it? Of 3 or 7, 7 is the minion. And then of 1 or 2 is a witch. You would be lying. You would be the witch. Hold on. I think, but I've also put down this as being somebody that's false. And then you would also have to be lying, saying of 3, 6, and 2, there's an evil. I don't like that. I don't like that setup. Oh, there's 3 evils. Right. I'm thinking that there's only 1, but okay. I want to kill the Plague Doctor. If it isn't there, I can know that you're corrupted and you're lying. Or if I try killing the Wretch instead, I think that gives me information like that I want, because if I know that you're corrupted, it gives me more information about like this card specifically, and I like that, compared to 1 or 2 being a witch. If that's false, then like they could be, well, are they both good characters then? I'm gonna kill the Wretch. It's not Puka, so then this one has to be Puka. A minion. Sorry, not Puka, just an evil card in general. There are no evils adjacent to you. You can't have been corrupted because there's no Plague Doctor on board, so then you also have to be evil. And then you couldn't kill 7. That's where the last evil is. So 7 is a minion, you're telling the truth. 1 or 2 is a witch, you're lying somehow? Wait, hold on. So you're telling the truth. There's no corruption on board. There's nobody else that's... there's supposed to be 1 outcast. Wait, Puka is the source of corruption. That's my bad. So 3 or 7 is a minion. That turned out to be true. We can test for corruption with the minion still. We just have to revert it or inverse it. Let's test the lover for corruption then. So you're saying that they're not corrupted, so then they are corrupted. Which then means that's the only way that they get corrupted is if this is Puka. And then you are also corrupted. So then of 6, 3, and 2, 1 is evil. So that means that there are either 2 evils in there, but we know that you're corrupted and you're good. So then there are 0 evils among all those cards. So then this is a good card. And then 1 or 2 is a witch. You're lying, you are the witch yourself. Okay, next round. Village number 7. We've got a Wretch, we've got a Plague Doctor, and a Bombardier. Actually, only 1 of any of them. The only source of corruption is the Plague Doctor, so it's... if I open up all the cards and I see a Wretch or a Bombardier, pretty likely, then I don't have to worry about corruption. So I'm just gonna speed through. Bombardier, I can't tell that yet, because somebody could be hiding, like disguising as the Bombardier. Let me just open up the rest of them. Wait. 1... Alchemist, 0 corruptions. There's maybe 0 corruptions on board. There are 0 corruptions on board. So you're true. You're safe. Ba is 1 card away from the closest evil. I'm assuming that the closest evil is clockwise, and you are corrupted. I also, or evil. Those are cards for that. because there's no corruptions, I can just kill the knight instantly. Yeah, and then the closest evil is clockwise. See, like this round right here, Village 7, didn't feel like it's supposed to be a challenging level. This felt way too easy. So I don't know how they're doing difficulty scaling. Don't really mind much. It's nice to have a break round. I complain about getting a drunk, I complain about not having a difficult enough round, and then I complain when the drunk comes back. We've got Lilith, which is going to kill somebody, and a Witch, which is not going to allow us to reveal the last card. That means that 2 cards are going to go unrevealed. Bit difficult. We've also got 2 Outcasts. Let's just open up cards. 1 away from a corrupted character. We are allowed to have a corruption. This is possibly a drunk, so I'm not going to open it. We've got a Judge. Got a Bard, 3 cards away. 1, 2, 3. That's... You guys are at odds with each other. So either one of you is corrupted or lying. You can't be corrupted because the drunk is our only form of corruption. So you have to be evil, one of you two. So I'm going to leave it as that instead. I can use a Judge on the Confessor to learn if the Judge itself is lying. Saying the truth, you are fine. 1 is evil of 9, 6, and 4. If you are telling the truth, then 9 is evil, so that this puts you two at odds. The closest evil is counterclockwise. That could be the case of these 2 being evil, and this being the drunk. I'm going to test that assumption by saying, yes, you are true. You 2 are the evil ones. You are telling the truth. You're corrupted. You're telling the truth. This setup. No. That ends the... I've done this before. I've played too hasty when I'm like, oh, I want to try killing a random card. Even if I like tried doing the Witch first, I would have felt like correct in my assumption, and I would have killed the Bombardier anyways before killing Lilith. Rough. Okay.